The penalties for child pornography will depend on whether you're charged in state court or federal court. For child pornography in Texas, you can be charged in either venue. You can be charged in state court, where you'll be in a district court, or you can be charged in federal court. And very often, where you end up in, whether state court or federal court, will depend on what agency developed the case. It'll depend on which state or federal would result in a larger or more lengthy prison sentence. If you have just a few images, there's a good chance you'll end up in state court. If you have lots of images, you have video, you have things like that, you'll end up in federal court. Now, in state court, the difference in the offense is there's a third-degree offense and there's a second-degree offense, depending on the facts of the case. In state court, you can end up with, I don't want to call it a minor type charge or a minor type of penalty, but it's possible to get in state court to be placed on probation for the offense and not serve prison time, but you'll still have to register as a sex offender for your entire life. In federal court, they're going to look at the number of images, they're going to look at the type of images, they're going to look at whether or not the child was younger than 14. And so all those issues play a role in the amount of time that someone could potentially serve. In federal court, it's not uncommon to have somebody, when they look at the images and when they assign points for the type of images, you could be looking at anywhere from 4 or 5 years in prison up to 10 years or more in prison, depending on your criminal history, depending on the type of images, if it's a prepubescent pictures, if they are involving very egregious type of images. In federal court, that can really up the penalty range. Now, what ends up happening is in federal court, you are awarded or you're given some additional benefit if you come forward and take responsibility early. In state court, there's no reward for coming forward early, for trying to work something out quickly. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. In state court, very often by fighting the case, you're going to end up with a better deal than if you just agreed to some sort of plea bargain. In federal court, your lawyer needs to look at the case, needs to hire an expert probably to look at the images, to look at, is there some way those images could have got on the computer without the knowledge of the person charged. Because you need to do that quickly so that the person can take responsibility if that's in their own best interest.